thank you for the joy of praying for you and just knowing that we are prayed for too in the work that I'm getting to do with FCA. I want to tell you a little bit about it. Yes, first, this is a hammock. Welcome to our living room. We got a hammock and a hammock stand because it's just too hot to put it out there yet, and there's no trees. So a lot of the FCA work gets done from right here. A couple things to tell you about that are really cool. FCA nationally has just pivoted super well. They've come up with a bunch of great products, and they're investing in us as staff through some great webinars. My two favorites, they brought in John Gordon to talk to us, as well as Mike Bickle, who founded and leads the International House of Prayer. That's part of while God's been working on my prayer life. And then secondly, the Atlanta Collegiate team, closer to home, they've pivoted well. Emily and her board put together a survey to send to coaches and athletes, see how they're doing and what they need. One cool thing that came out of it, we learned of some international athletes on one of our campuses who are, quite frankly, hungry. Their on-campus job is closed and they don't have a work visa, so we cleared it by compliance and got to deliver some food to these guys. On top of that, the other results, requests for playlists, Bible study helps, connection to a spiritual mentor or even a counselor, we're being able to help meet those needs. And I got to dump it all on our new webpage, the link's in the email too if you want to go check it out. But it's not all been happy. There's been some discouraging things too, right? For all of us. One of the hard decisions we had to make was to cancel Encounter for this summer. So I'm not going to be traveling to Atlanta to support that. And so I'm trying to do my 24 days of Air Force Reserve duty now so that I'm free to travel once all this is a little more cleared up and opens up, hopefully in August. And in the middle of some of that discouragement, I'm so thankful I ended up in a conversation with Mark Parker, and I want to share with you what he told me. He asked me, why do you feel like you've got to swing for the fences all the time? Like, why can't you just hit the singles and the doubles that God has put in front of you? So how about for you? What are the singles and the doubles that God has put in front of you? And can we just be faithful in those little things? So that's what we've done. And the results have actually been mind-blowing. I want to share that with you. For Encounter, we figured out a good way forward. If we want to disciple the next generation, the best thing we can give them is the Word of God and the power of God. So we're going to meet with them weekly via Zoom and walk them through the biblical overview that I wrote for Encounter, as well as the book, The Art of Listening Prayer. And then for another thing, I've just been joining in on these weekly Zoom calls for sports chaplains and character coaches. And because of that, I got invited to be the guest speaker for all of the FCA colleagues who do this in Eurasia, to speak to them about ministry with female athletes and coaches. Crazy. I don't deserve that, but got to do it. And then lastly, this Collegiate 101, I'm just still steadily working along at it, and thought I'd train a couple people coming on staff for the Atlanta Collegiate team. But that's blown up too. Now it's 2 cohorts of 9 people. We've got folks joining us from DC, Maryland, Arizona, and Texas. What in the world? Just trying to hit singles and doubles and watching what God does, blowing it up. So thank you, Mark, for reminding me about being faithful in the little things. What are the little things that the Lord's put in front of you? Go be faithful in them. And then lastly, just want to share a couple things to ask for your prayer in. First, the Air Force called and said, hey, you want to do some extra days? They said I could maintain the calls that I need to be on for FCA work. So I ought to be heading to Greenland here in a couple of weeks. Yeah, Greenland, the country. The first 14 days I have to spend in self-isolation, so pray for this extrovert there. But I'm just hoping it'll be a great time of praying and planning, doing some work, working out, and then 3 weeks of amazing Air Force chaplain ministry. I just wanted to let you know in case I post a picture of me kayaking past a glacier, right? And then secondly, the last person who joined the monthly team that gives financially to make this stuff happen, They put us over the top in terms of our monthly financial goal. So all the stuff that I've talked about so far, it's covered. So now we're actually free to begin asking the Lord, what next, or is there anything more, if anything? But is it New Mexico State? We want to stand up Encounter in other cities. Is that something I could end up doing? Will this Collegiate 101 thing keep blowing up and require more? Our life is pretty well spoken for until August, but we're beginning to pray now and ask that you would please join us in prayer. And if the Lord so leads, being a part of helping make that part happen. So thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of this team, for caring, for encouraging, for praying, for supporting financially. Whatever role you play, just thank you so much for being a part of it. It's changing lives.